92.1 WROI, WROIFM.com. Streaming audio live, RTC Channel 5, and audio, soon to be video, on RTC Channel 4. And that's why Dakota's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And, of course, Mr. John Alley is here, President
Good morning.
and CEO, Woodlawn Hospital. Nice to have you in the studio today.
No place I'd rather be.
I'm glad to hear that. I really am. You may be the first person that said that all day, but thank you very much for that. Woodlawn Hospital Board of Trustees in session yesterday.
Had our meeting yesterday, and last month we talked a little bit about we were looking to upgrade and change out our mammography unit. So we had Molly Hardesty, who's the director of radiology, kind of come in and give us an update on where we're at. And we will be converting to what's called a 3D mammography unit, which is the newest state-of-the-art. And that will be sometime right after 1st of February. By the time we get it ordered, get it installed, certified. So it's going to take, 2 to 3 months to get that in. But, I think it's a vast improvement over what we got now. The current unit was put in 2004.
Okay.
So it was a nice unit in 2004. It's not a nice unit in 2018. So the 3D mammography will allow the doctor to examine the breast tissue layer by layer. So instead of viewing all of the complexities of the breast in a flat image, as what we have now with 2D, now they can see fine details that are more visible, no longer hidden by tissue maybe above or below suspect point. 3D technology, they're to screen for breast cancer with much greater accuracy, regardless of a woman's age or breast density. In the past, sometimes you say, well, we can't do one. So it is just light years ahead of what we have now. And again, it's the best technology has to offer as of today. So excited to get that in. Staff's really excited about it. Some of the facts, why should you get a mammogram? Because a lot of ladies, we find out, I don't need it. Or they say, well, my family doesn't have a history. One of eight women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. 8 out of 9 women diagnosed with breast cancer have no family history of it. So when you're saying,
Is that right?
It's not in my family,
Right.
does it make a bit of difference?
Doesn't make any difference at all,
No.
does it?
And with this new early detection, the 5-year survival rate is almost 100%. So the sooner they find it, the better it is. So,
Okay.
Can't say enough. Ladies, get your mammograms. Don't find an excuse. Especially now with this new technology with the 3D, it's just phenomenal how much sooner they can now find just the smallest, tiniest little suspect spot they can see now, whereas before they might not be able to see it. So, again, talk to your physician, get that screening mammogram done. It could save your life.
John, just another example of how technology in the medical industry is changing so rapidly, and so much for the better.
So much for the better.
Right.
With the new technology now, things that we thought about 10 years ago as being Star Trek is reality. And it's kind of interesting to go back and look back what we were doing 10, 15 years ago. We were very proud of what you had then.
State of the art at that time.
We look at it now and go, what were we thinking? It's just so much advancement with computers and how these devices can go in and do things they've never done before. And I think, that's exciting. Everybody says, well, when are you going to retire? When I'm stop having fun.
Exactly.
It is just so exciting right now. Some of the technology that we're seeing in medical devices, in the new technology as far as diagnostic type services and procedures, it's fascinating what they can do. So absolutely, talk to your physician. If you've never had a mammogram, get one. It could save your life. And especially with the new 3D, after the first year, a lot of people say, well, I can't get one. I've been told in the past I can't have one because, my breasts are too dense. No longer an excuse. So Get it done.
Okay.
We also approved our 2019 budget. That went to the board a couple months ago, and they approved it yesterday. Right now, we're projecting about $151 million in gross revenue, which you and I both know that's just a starting point. We're going to write off probably about $95 million of that, or 63%, through either contracts with insurance companies where we pay them, they pay us a discounted rate, or just the people that just don't pay where we write off the whole bill. Should have expenses around $56,700,000. So we're hoping, if everything goes right, to have a bottom line of about $500,000. Which is kind of depressing when you think we're starting off with $151 million, and we're hoping for $500,000 to be left over. But that's healthcare,
right?
And,
exactly.
I think we've kind of looked at the budget really, really hard. I think we're going to hit it.
Is that comparable to this year, John?
It's slightly less.
Okay.
we had to put some changes in. There were some state level changes on, they call it an assessment fee. I call it a tax. So it went up about $1.2 million for us. So that had to come out of the budget for this year over what it was in 2018.
Okay.
So, if we do things right, I think we're going to hit that. And we're going to work very, very hard. I mean, we've kind of talked this morning to our leadership team. Here's our budget. We got to get there. We've got to get, on that positive side. So
Woodlawn is a nonprofit hospital.
We're not profit.
But
you got to have profit to be able to put back in. And that's, like the mammogram. Those aren't cheap. And so, that money that we get through this process is what we turn around and reinvest back in technology, equipment into the facility. We've been getting some phone calls here lately, and I'm sure folks are getting, the emails. We've all got the phone call from the IRS that if you don't pay, the sheriff's going to come pick you up. Well, the newest one now is there's some emails going out that appears coming from Woodlawn Hospital, from our billing department. It says, please provide us with information so we can get your bill paid via email. Our central billing office will never ask for payment or send an invoice via email. We never initiate any communication about your bills via email. So if you receive email that appears to be from us about your bill, do not respond to it. Do not click it. Do not open it. Just delete it, because it's not from us. And we've had about 4 or 5 people call in and say, well, I got your email, and I thought my bill was paid. So that kind of got us on the alert, and we started looking, and we're finding that it appears it's coming from our billing office. Wow. And the bad part is you can't stop it. Can't tell where it's coming from, but somebody out there is spoofing our emails. So again, if you get something from an email from the hospital billing department, delete it. It's not from us.
And yet you take extra precautions to not have those things happen.
Yes. I mean, we've got, again, our IT department daily are monitoring. We probably have 50 to 100 attacks per day on our system of people trying to hack into it. And so we get a report, and we've got redundant firewalls to try to prevent all this. But if somebody wants hard enough, they're going to get in. So unfortunately, we've been hit a little bit with this on some of the emails. Again, please do not open it. Don't respond. Just delete it.
Well said.
I've gotten the phone calls, from the Internal Revenue, going to take me to jail, and I said, "Come get me. I need a little break." And they usually hang up, so it doesn't go too far.
Put me in a warm place.
Yeah, please. Yeah. 3 meals in a cot. What more can a man want? So what the billing office also is doing now to provide a little better service. We're expanding the service to meet your needs faster. So we're making some changes there. So if you called in and talk to a certain person all the time, that might be changing a little bit. So we're kind of moving the alphabet around so it's going to be a little better, a little easier for you to communicate. So in mid-January, one of the things we're also doing, you're going to get one statement now. Currently, if you go to see a physician, you get a statement. If you go to the hospital, it's a second statement. We're going to be able to combine those onto one statement. So it's going to be much easier to read, make more sense, because it's confusing, and I get them too. I use our services. So you think you got your bill paid, and the next day there's another statement from the hospital or from the medical office. It's going to be on one statement. I think that's going to really help simplify things. So if you do have a question about your bill, again, if you get that email and you're still not sure, you can call the billing office, and their number is area code 574-223-2455.
Okay.
And they can help you with that. So looking forward to that. Again, it's going to take a while to get some of the technology in place, but about mid-January, should get one bill, one statement, much easier to read. It's going to make a lot more sense to you, because healthcare is confusing enough, let alone us sending out statements that just don't make sense. And I have to agree. I've seen some of them, and I go in and say, what is it? And I work there every day. They are confusing. So we're going to see an improvement in that.
Excellent.
Finally got around to the financials.
Okay.
We kind of went through a lot of that stuff. For October, we had about $13 million in gross revenue. Wrote off $7.7 million. Had operating expenses about $5.3 million, so we actually had an operational profit of $335,000 for the month. And usually in the fall of the year, we start getting into October, November, December. That's where we start seeing some of the revenue coming back in, and some of the losses we experienced during the summer are covered by that. So again, projecting probably a profit this year, just a small one, but again, that's what we need. That allows us to reinvest back into the hospital. So looking forward to 2019. The budget's in place and ready to go.
Okay. John Alley, our guest president, CEO, Woodlawn Hospital. 2019, John, as we look ahead, we talked about the new mammography machine. Other things perhaps on the horizon for Woodlawn?
We're looking at, again, probably it's going to be more technology driven. As we start reviewing some of our systems we've got, we're finding, are they at end of life? And some of these things, you buy 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden the manufacturer's saying, you only got 2 more years on this, and we're going to stop supporting it. So we're probably starting now doing a house-wide survey of all that technology that is coming up for end of life. And if, rather than wait till it gets there, does it make sense maybe to say, okay, it's still got a couple years, we can still get parts, should we start looking in 2019? So that's probably going to be our focus for 2019 is, where are we at on this technology? Is there something better? Is this one at the end of life where we can't get repair parts as we move forward? So I think that's probably going to be our focus the first 6 months, analyzing everything in-house and getting that list together and say, okay, we need to do this first, this second, and then move down the line.
We have docs all in line?
Still looking for a physician for Argus.
Okay.
What I'm finding out with some of I call them kids, but they're young adults.
Younger people.
Everybody's younger than me, it seems like anymore. But they're looking for a different experience. They don't want to come to the small rural communities. They're looking for big metropolitan areas. So it's going to take a while, I think, to find that right fit. They're out there. I just haven't found that person yet. And so we're looking. We've got, I think, right now 4 or 5 different recruiters helping us, scanning the country for a physician that might be looking for a rural community to come to. And, it's hard for me to, because we live here every day, to say we're a rural community. But in the grand scheme of things, when I'm looking for physicians, we are. And it's interesting at times where I have a physician who will say, my wife and I, we're looking for a rural community. And I say, I need your definition. And they're looking for something with 500,000 population. That's rural to them.
Carmel.
Yes. So it's a game, and it's fun to talk to some of these folks and get their perspective, what they're looking for. So we're going to find them. It's just not going to be an overnight deal. So, what I want to get is that right person. It doesn't make sense to bring somebody in if they're not happy, because then we just have turnaround and turnover there, and don't want that. So, we're looking for that right person to bring in that's going to fit with the community, want that rural setting, and hopefully make them for a long-term investment.
And, of course, you just recently added a new surgeon.
Yes, Dr. Blaza doing quite well, getting excellent reports from patients who have seen him, just absolutely love his bedside manner, his demeanor. And again, I think what I like out of a surgeon, even me personally, is his comment is not, well, let's go surgery first. He does look at alternatives. I'm no different than anybody else. The last thing I want is a surgery.
Exactly.
So if there's an alternative that I can try that maybe will fix the problem, that's what I'm looking for. And he's kind of that way. He looks at all the options, and if at the end of the day, it says, no, really, we're going to have to do surgery, then I'm fine with that. And that's kind of how he approaches things. And I'm very appreciative of that it's just not the first thing we think about, let's go to surgery. Because, that does create other problems potentially. So I like the fact that we take our time. We're not rushing into things. Let's try other alternatives. And, I think the patients are feeling that too. They like that idea that I can talk to him, we can discuss this problem, and let's find the best procedure that we need to do or alternative to surgery.
John, I know we've got another month to go in the year 2018, but 2018 for Woodlawn Hospital, good year?
It was a marginal year. I think we experienced a lot longer downtime through the summer months than what we had anticipated. We've always kind of known, okay, when we start getting June, July, August, September are kind of our slow months. This year that was really slow. And, that's a good thing because that means people weren't sick. So, that kind of threw us off from our past experiences when we kind of look, history is a lot of time a really good predictor of the future. So we go back and look in prior years, what has happened. And this was probably our lowest and what we've seen in probably the past 15 years of those few months as far as patient volumes were really, really down. So that tells me, one, we're doing a good thing with wellness programs. But then I've got to adapt. I've got to make some changes internally so that we're prepared for that as we move in 2019, 2020, and as we go forward. So it has kind of changed our thought process as we look now for future years. Is this the new trend? We are getting better with, preventative medicines and seeing less folks come into the facility. And we weren't alone. As I talked to, my counterparts around the state, everybody said this was an odd year for them. Everybody's volumes were down. So I think we're doing stuff right if we're seeing a reduction in some of those volumes. And a lot of us are in the chronic disease where, people come in over and over and over for the same thing. We're seeing a little less of that. So we're kind of getting a good handle on what we need to do to keep them out of the hospital, keep them at home, keep them well. And that's what we need to do.
And I know that for the month of December, because of the holidays, board meeting moves up a week.
Yes, we'll be 1 week earlier, so it would be, I think, the 18th?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's right.
So being here 1 week earlier this year, but again, that's usually kind of just the wrap everything up, and we do a lot of reflection. Okay, what happened last year, and what we think is going to happen next year. So not a lot of, I would say, deep business going on, but more of that, planning, reflection, and where we go to do, and what do we need to do to make 19 better than 18. And we've got some programs in place I think is going to help us do that.
Board meetings open to the public, John?
Open to the public,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. John Alley, President and CEO, Woodlawn Hospital. Thanks for keeping everybody well, John.
That's our goal is to put ourselves out of business. Unfortunately, we're not there yet, but we got darn close during the summer, I think. So, again, that's, it is our job to provide that wellness, make sure people get the best possible health care they can get. And if we can find a way on that chronic disease that they have, can we make them better? Keep them out of the hospital, keep them at home. So everybody feels better at home than they do in the hospital. So that's kind of our job, unfortunately, to keep them out. And we did a good job during the summer.
You've got the people and the technology to take care of that as well.
We do. It's again, I can't say it enough. The staff at the hospital truly do care about the people they see, and I can talk about it all I want to until you experience it, and it's fun. I spend a lot of time walking around, and I listen to the interaction between staff, patients, and visitors, and everybody they do care, and you can tell in how they talk, how they act around people, and it just makes you feel good to see that type of environment that we bring to the patients, because nobody wants to be in the hospital. It's the last place anybody wants to be, especially this time of year. So if the staff can make that just a tiny bit less stressful, we've done our job, and they recognize that, and they do a darn good job. It's just a pleasure to have them. They make me look good. I say it all the time. They make me look good.
John Alley, thanks very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.